let's first of all take the individual that would like to add value to another company, because the other dimension is you need a board yourself. But let's, in this particular context and in your book, you're really talking about how an individual can take up a role as a board advisor.
Yeah.
What qualifications would one need? Because, I myself, I applied on a platform called New Role, and my background of running sort of multiple businesses in multiple countries didn't seem to fit. No, I didn't have a sort of a corporate enough background, it seemed, to fulfill that kind of role. So do you want to just explode some myths about who can be on an advisory board? And then we're going to talk about why, from a time and money perspective, people might want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, first of all, basically about 18 months ago, I set up a program to help women, minorities and first timers to get board seats. And so for the last 18 months, I've been training people how to apply what I'd kind of learned. And I think within 3 or 4 months, or maybe it's 5 months of joining the program, 60% of people had got board seats. And one of the core criteria that we have is never apply for a board position. Look, I think part of it is that I'm an entrepreneur, and just the idea of putting my future in the hands of someone in HR really makes me
you stepped out of that a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah. So very few people get hired to a board position because they've applied through formal channels. That's just not how board positions work. When you see an advert out there, it tends to be they've already made the decision, but they have to appease someone in HR. So the advert goes out, or it's a recruitment company that's just fishing for CVs. And I'm sorry that you weren't the successful applicant. But by the way, if you've want a job, we've got XYZ. Say, look, never apply for a board position. There's 330 million companies in the world. Less than 1% of them actually have a board. So despite the fact we're saying how valuable it is to have people that hold you accountable and that can bounce ideas, less than 1% of them have. And most of us, when we think about boards, we think about Apple or Facebook or ESSO, whatever those are. And by the way, nothing in my book can teach you to jump onto those boards. I don't know how to get onto those boards. What I'm talking about is getting on the bottom of the rung, starting with smaller companies, building your way up. Because one of the sort of fundamental arguments is, well, you haven't got experience, you haven't got board experience, so we can't put you on the board. It's like being a teenager again and being told you can't get a job because you haven't got experience. Like, it's frustrating. So what we get our members to do, and what I advise in the book, is think outside of your local neighborhood, because in your local neighborhood, you're not different from everyone else that's looking for board seats. Internationally, there's a whole bunch of companies out there that are thinking about expanding into your country. And to them, you've got unique knowledge and you've got unique contacts. And regardless of what your career is or your industry is or how much management experience, you add value like that. Now, if they haven't got a board and you offer to help create a board for them, you can then go and reach out to 4 or 5 cool people that you want to connect with and say, hey, I'm putting together a board for this company. It's informal. We're just going to meet once a month. You're not going to get paid, but this is just an opportunity for some experience to connect with people. There's no risk. There's no legal obligations there. You now have become incredibly valuable to that company because you've pulled this together. It's also a great excuse to meet some brilliant people, and you can add value. And by default, you've kind of got your board position. And even though at a very basic level, all you're actually doing is meeting with the CEO for coffee once a month to ask them some questions about your business, if you update your LinkedIn profile and say, I meet for coffee once a month, nobody's particularly impressed. If you update your LinkedIn profile and say, I now sit on the board of advisors for XYZ company, what happens is your network goes loopy and goes, wow, that's incredible. I didn't know you were interested in that. Let me introduce you to this person. And it happens over and over again. Our members update their profile with their first board seat, and suddenly people are reaching out to them and going, oh, I didn't know you were even thinking about that. Like, have you spoken to this guy? So it's incredibly effective. And what we're trying to do is get into that inner circle. And so that's kind of the first step.